a story called The Mitten by Jan Brett. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother Baba did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will see that you are safe and sound, but when I will look and see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. There's a mitten. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm, just the right size, so he decided to stay. There's that mole. A snowshoe rabbit came along, hopping by, and stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. Mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. So now there's two animals in the mitten. Next, Hedgehog came sniffing along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not wanting to be arguing with someone covered with prickles, they made room. So Hedgehog has got little spikes all over his back. They all moved out of his way. Oh wow, look who's next. As soon as Hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinting talons, they quickly let him in. Talons are his feet, and you can see he's got real sharp claws on those feet. Up through the snow appeared Badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased, but there was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. So look, he's got sharp claws too. Do you think they're all going to fit in there? That mitten's really stretching. Baba's knitting is holding tight. Who's next? It started snowing. The animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and Fox trotted by, stopped to investigate. Just as the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy, the fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Who do you think's going to come next into this book? What animal might be coming next? A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched and pulled and budged, so many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Now look here, looks like somebody else is coming. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wiggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. So you see her? She's real teeny tiny. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. Oh my goodness. Look at them. They're all flying all over the place because the bear sneezed. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost Mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. Look what happened to all those animals. They all landed in the snow. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound. Then she saw that he was, and still had his new mittens. Do you see something different with the mitten? Look at this one, looks much bigger. Let's see. And that's the end of our story. See? Baba sees the difference. Wonder what she's thinking. And that's our story, The Mitten by Jan Brett.